that behind me you can see this horrific pile. I'm trying to make my office look very pristine and terribly, terribly professional. And I've got this mountain. Oops. Before we get started, let's have a little sip, shall we? For those of you who are just joining us, I'm broadcasting through something, it's like a hub, and it allows me to be on Facebook and in my Facebook groups and on LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram and Twitch. And the whole idea is to, one one swoop, one swoop, touch many things. What is it? One rock, many targets. And the reason good morning, Eddie, as you wished, my dear friend, you said this should be a theme, and today it is. Today we're going to be talking about caterpillars and butterflies and why they don't speak the same language and what causes that. Because after all, the caterpillar is the early stage of butterflydom, right? So why wouldn't they speak the same language? You would think that would be a given. And I'm going to tell you why. So, but just a second, one more sip, because I want to also tell you something else. One of the reasons that we are able to move forward in our lives and do different things at our pace is because we, even in the stepping into the unknown of change, somehow, some way, we feel safe. Because the whole thing, our whole primitive brain is all about safety, sanctuary. And on that note, good morning, Miss Maggie. Today we're talking about butterflies and caterpillars, and we should be talking about people just completely facing the wrong way, right? But on a very serious note, and on a very it's a very heartwarming note. So on the very serious note, I live in this beautiful high rise, and the windows, one window opens, but it doesn't open fully. It's on a lock, and it's just to be able to give you that, that sense of fresh air, because so many apartments, the windows are sealed. So any window, you've got one regular window, and then you've got one with a screen and it opens. Anyway, yesterday we lost a small child who's disappeared out a window, and we don't know why. We just told. And this morning, as I was getting ready for the video, a notice of entry was slipped under my door. And so this is how fast they're working. They own thousands of buildings. And this is, however, their flagship building in the capital of Canada. And they were here this morning, first thing, 9 o'clock, checking every apartment, every window, every latch, every lock, to make sure that anyone else would be safe. So it's a tragic note. And sometimes, though, in the midst of tragedy, people come together in a beautiful way. And, every time something happens, when they were in and he had done and he had checked it off, and I said, my name is Abby, and he had introduced himself as one of the property managers for the company. And when I escorted him out, there were 4 people coming out of apartments, all of them with the company. So it is a team group effort. They've brought in people from all the other buildings in the capital to make sure that this building is safe. And that is all you ask, really. You want to feel safe. You want to feel seen. You want to feel heard. You want to believe that you matter, that you make a difference, that you being here changes the game. It's really our gut need. And food, all the things that render us feeling safe. But so on that note, it leads me to 2 things. And one of them, Maggie and I have been talking about for weeks and months now. And that is a belief in safety without checking. An assumption that everything's going to be fine without making sure, without owning the knowledge, without Every time when someone comes in from the building, I introduce myself. I want them to know my name. I want to know their name, not because I'm checking up on them, but I want it to be a family. We are strong. Human beings are strong when we are family, when we are together in a common purpose. And so much of the time these days, it's entirely possible that the overwhelm and this definition that I have cobbled together currently of overwhelm as opposed to the verb is it's a combination of continued confusion, continued uncertainty, continued sense of risk and vulnerability. And it wears us down and it tears us down and it makes us fear-based and we don't think clearly. And so all the work that I do with you, we together, Eddie and Maggie and all the lovelies who check in with me on a regular basis, we are creating family. We are creating connection that makes us feel like we matter, that we are here, and that it's safe for us to take those steps. Exactly, human touch, high touch humanics. Exactly, Eddie. It's the exact opposite of this tech disconnect. And technology is a wonder. This is how we are connecting today. However, we are using technology as a process and a tool to enable our abilities, not to replace them. And this is where it goes off the rail. When we think that something is no longer needed without checking to be sure. I call it in some of my lighter moments, I call it the Department of Unintended Outcomes. You say, oh God, I didn't think that would happen. Did you think about what would happen? No, I just seemed like such a great idea. Okay. And we all do it. We all do it. I've been talking, Eddie, you need to tell me what you think about this. Yeah, absolutely. I have been pressured. I'm being increasingly pressured to do a podcast, which is this, but with interviews, right? So Eddie, I'm floating an idea for the title of my podcast, ABCAST, and I'm thinking of calling it. I meant to do that. Right? I meant to do that. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Not in any realm, not in any fantasy level of anything, but I mean to do that. So today, all of that circling around. So my beautiful people who are coming on the first time, we need to help me do two things. One is to polish that title. Am I meant to do that? And the other is I need to get people staying for longer than 60 seconds. Apparently there's an algorithm. So if you can spare me a minute, as opposed to 54 seconds or 32 seconds, if you can spare me 62, I think it is 62, then this changes the game entirely. Apparently, over the past month, I've had 160,000 watches, reaches, connections, but fleeting. It's like they hiccuped and moved on. So I need to get something just a little longer than a minute, and then we're golden. All right, so enough of that. That's the housework. That's the backstory. And now we're going to get on to today. Oh, you're right, Eddie. Technology doesn't define us. We define technology. Just saying. So the title of the video today is Why the Caterpillar Can't Speak Butterfly Language. Why butterflies can't understand caterpillars. And of course, it's a metaphor. And it's very confusing in a way because the caterpillar is the early stages of the butterfly phase of life. You would think they would talk. You would think they would be able to connect and understand and see each other. And here is my take on why. The caterpillar is grounded on earth. The caterpillar has a methodical path, a predictable circuit. The caterpillar is on its way slowly, inexorably, every day. its vision, its priorities, its issues and interests and concerns are those things. How is the ground? Where did the tree go that I climbed yesterday? Where are all the ants going? These are the questions a caterpillar would be asking and talking and discussing and sharing and pondering with its friends, with its neighbors, with its family. It is interested in the now, in the close circle, the inner circle of reach, within the arm's length. The freedom to swing its curiosity is a very small arc. And then the caterpillar does something very interesting. The caterpillar climbs and weaves a cocoon to ready for an extraordinary change. They're not focused on the change itself. They're focused on the preparation. They're focused on the detailed, simple, repetitive steps that produce something beautiful, strong, lasting, and innately, impossibly valuable. The caterpillar is creating the cocoon, the travel pod, to get that beautiful soul from where it is to the other side. And on the other side is the butterfly. The butterfly wakes up one day and its wings are ready. And it is able to break through, to step away from, to move out from the safety of the cocoon. It takes some time, once the butterfly is free, for the wings to spread and strengthen and dry. And so it waits. It's not thinking back, as far as we know. It's focused on now. It's focused on getting ready. It's focused on growing. It's focused on focusing on its tomorrows. And when its wings are ready, it flies. And as it flies, it owns the skies the way we do. It flies free. And from where it is flying, the things it can see, the caterpillar could never imagine. How could it? Not even an inch off the ground, unless it's climbing a tree. And then its whole focus is the bark. And when it's building its cocoon, its whole focus is the cocoon. The caterpillar is the immediate now. The butterfly is everything. Can you imagine if those two could ever meet? Picture it. Hi, Grandma. Well, hello, sweetheart. Your wings look lovely. Thanks, Grandma. Have you made cookies today? They wouldn't have that conversation. Well, they might, but only for a minute. Because Grandma can only talk about the here and now. And the butterfly is eager and impatient and ready to go and do and fly and be. How do you have a conversation? Which language are you speaking? The caterpillar can't use butterfly language because it never learned it. The butterfly is already focusing elsewhere. It doesn't have the time. It doesn't have the capacity. It doesn't have the patience to go back to try and remember what it was like to be small. It has moved on. So in my mind, in our minds, What I'd like us to see is the recognition that we come from the same place and we're heading the same place. And at some point we transition. Other than that, we're not on the same trajectory. We have completely different interests, and those interests come with different languages. We have to work hard to make ourselves understood to each other. We have to find the commonalities. And if all that I want to do is fly and be free, and all that my caterpillar ancestor wants to do is be safe in the here and the now, other than how are you, and I love you and I miss you, what else can we talk about? What else can we find common ground on other than we are from the same place? We are going the same way. We're just using different tools and technologies. And this, I think, is what we're forgetting. This is what we're not seeing today. In this headlong rush, oh, good morning, Freddie. Nice to see you. In this headlong rush to embrace change, we're kicking everything else to the curb, believing we don't need it, believing it no longer serves. One second. And I think this is true in so many conversations. Gary Swithenbank and I are working on projects that are bringing people together. We are curating their stories. We are working with them on the stories that are holding them back. We are giving them fresh perspectives. We are giving them lion effect tools to get them back in the game, get them back at a level where they used to train to maintain. We are touching our inner uniqueness, and we are custom tailoring the solutions we provide. You know, when Maggie and I started working together back in November, wow, time flies. Maggie was saying after we'd had our first few sessions that she was surprised and delighted that this wasn't a cookie cutter thing, that when she signed up, I wasn't going to send her a questionnaire and then and 6 exercises to do by Monday. She said, this is custom tailored. You're actually coaching and elevating me. You're elevating Maggie. And I said, well, absolutely. What would be the point of doing anything else? And so when we find that there are similarities in our differences and we can find a common conversation, what have we got going on here? Just a second, I just need to read this. I like to embrace technology. Hit up film, you can probably do the interview with his technology. Oh, Nikki, how thoughtful of you. How thoughtful of you. I love that. You see, my family is reaching out and saying, here, do this. Don't touch that burner. It's hot, Abby. That's what happened last time. Thank you, Nikki. You're awesome. I will look into this afterwards, okay? And the lady is really good at it. Interviewer. Well, I'm the interviewer, so that we won't be needing that, but that's okay. This is beautiful of you. Look at this long message. I will definitely, no strings attached with me. Oh, that's lovely. Would love to see some interviews with me. Well, thank you. The cartoons. Yes. Thank you. What a hero you are. Thank you. That's very sweet. I appreciate that. This is what I'm saying. You see, we are family. We are saying, did you know about this? And by the way, mind that step. That's the cliff. We're here together for each other. So what the thing is that we're doing and what if it, so, and Eddie, you don't totally like to embrace technology out of necessity and not chain to it. I think, Eddie, see this feedback we're getting here. People are weighing in on the ways that they see it as helpful, as opposed to the ways we can pretzelize ourselves to fit into what it needs. One of the things that I say to people who opt out of owning their moments, owning their days, when they say, it's got to get better, things are going to change, I remind them that a thing is an object. It is inanimate. Things don't change. People change things. That there is technology is because humans thought of it and said, I wonder what happens when we connect this to that. Always important. The wheel didn't think of it itself. We thought of the wheel. We were the big wheel and we created training wheels. See how that worked? So back on my theme of caterpillar, butterfly. One is not better than the other. Each is essential to the other. Each develops and brings the tools and the seeds of possibility for the next generation. We evolve in collaboration and connection and engagement and transformation. None of it is standalone. You know, the beautiful things that we're starting to learn from the scientists, that trees are all connected, right? Mushrooms and fungus, they're all connected underground. They signal to each other. They let each other know if there's something wrong. They're sending nutrients to each other. It is a community. We are all connected. When we are in one phase, we're not in the next one. This phase is leading to the next one. It is a process, an evolving, ever-changing process that works in cycles and circles, right? Circles of life. I'm about to channel the Lion King. So what I wanted to say today, because I had a rather extraordinary conversation a couple of days ago with someone who was very standoffish. So I belong to a club, a private members club of business owners and executives. And the opportunity to belong to the club is to meet people who are business owners and executives. The idea is to connect, engage, transform. And this individual had just joined and was not friendly at all, was very standoffish, did do the reach out, did say hello, did want to know how long I'd been a member, didn't ask, wasn't interested in what I do. Once they knew how long I'd been there, they proceeded to tell me about them and their career path and their business and their concept. And this is the turning point moment that I want to share. We, of course, inevitably, businesses these days and business owners gravitate to the conversation about technology. And she said, people who are holding back are in the way. If they don't want to be part of the process, part of the change, they need to go and do something else. And she said, in my company, I'm famous for 4 words. I say them all the time, every day. No matter what it is that someone brings me, some new thing, some terrible disaster, some what do we do now? This individual said, my 4 words are these. So what? Then what? And I paused. I was about to kind of lean back out of the trajectory of that because I didn't want that energy all over me. And Gary was there and just sort of put his hand on my shoulder. And I said, and you own the company? And she said, oh, yes. And I said, how is it helpful to dismiss people? Because do you not feel that so what is a dismissal? It's a rejection. She said, I want to make it clear when they qualify and when they don't, because I don't have time for anything else. And I thought, that is not a connection scenario. That is a division. That is a divide and conquer scenario. That is a separation of layers scenario. And some of them work some of the time. What they don't foster is confidence. What they don't foster is loyalty. What they don't foster is excitement and curiosity. What they foster is people looking for other jobs, people looking for ways to not contribute any more than they absolutely have to, because the likelihood of getting it wrong appears to be greater than the possibility of getting it right. And for so many people, you only get one chance. Except that that means they have forgotten that as children, it took many chances, many tries, many practices until we could get the food off the plate onto the spoon into the mouth. Many tries before we stopped falling down the stairs. Many tries at everything until we got it right. So this suddenly hurry up, be perfect out of the gate is actually a way to generate failure, is a way to generate walking away, disconnect. So again, this reverts back to why caterpillars can't speak butterfly language. Because one is fixated on their focus as the only focus worth having, and the other not recognized, not respected, not encouraged, not supported, has the freedom to fly away and try again. In these difficult times, people are forgetting that human beings aren't perfect. We were never made that way. And everything that we create has imperfection built into it, knowingly or unknowingly, because it's how we are made. If we are doing our best to create something with minimized risk, we're still using our flawed thinking processes. There is an item on in the news today, two items in the news today. One was that a tech agent accidentally, apparently, wiped the entire database of a company's information, background, stored processes and procedures. Gone in 30 seconds. Accidentally, probably. It made one glitch, and in 30 seconds, the years and years and years of work stored, gone. Why were they only stored in one place? No one knows. That was the headline. What will it cost to try and find external places where random bits and pieces of what was created might be found and restored? How long is that going to take? What is that going to cost in terms of efficiency? Another headline was using a word to say something in a polite way that is actually a criminal act. The verb they used was distill. When you distill something, you take its volume and you remove all the stuff that isn't the essence of it. You know, when you boil down something to render the syrup, what you're boiling off is the water. It escapes as steam. That's the distillation process. They're talking about distilling information, protected data, intellectual property, taking it, using it, pulling from it what they need to create what they want. If it's protected intellectual property, that's theft. And it's punishable. They're not calling it theft. They're calling it distill. That's just a fancy word. It doesn't change what they're doing. What it does is it gives them permission to look the other way and claim they didn't know. We'd never do that. Oh, no. Or, as with this individual I met, they might actually say, so what? What are you going to do about it? Too late. Cat's out of the bag, horses out of the barn. Sucks to be you. Is that the nature of the business? If that is the nature of the business, do we wish to join it? Do we wish to live in that? Do we wish to have that toxicity rub off on us and taint the air we breathe and shape and change the thoughts we have and the concepts we perceive? Are we willing to let go of our principles in order to belong? These are caterpillar butterfly conversations. Because once the caterpillar has made the cocoon and goes in, there's no going back. We carry with us the essence, the resonance, the echoes of every moment and every person and every place we've passed. They live, they become threads in our tapestry. So once again, we're looking at the Department of Unintended Outcomes. In the race to a goal we cannot see, what are we willing to compromise? How willing are we to allow ourselves to be held by conformity? It's an important question. And I think the tragedy is that so many caterpillars and so many butterflies could benefit if they could find a common language. And maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe Eddie, you'll tell me. Maybe Nikki, you'll tell me. Maybe Freddie, you'll tell me. Maggie. All of you, all my beautiful, beautiful people, tell me, are we creating a new language? Are we creating lion speak? Maybe that's what it is. I kind of like lion speak. What do you think? Are we drafting words and phrases and attitudes and intentions and priorities that form the foundation of lion speak? What do you think? Here's me writing that down, lion speak. Let's talk about that some more. Let's lean into that. Let's talk about who wants to learn lion speak. Are you fluent in lion speak? I love this idea. You see what happens when we put our brains together? How often does this happen to you? It happens with me every Tuesday and Thursday. And that is magical. That is simply magical. Okay, so here we are. It's not a long ABCAST today. We have miles to go before we sleep and lots of important, exciting things to do. Before I sign off today, I want to let you know, what are we talking about on Thursday? I'm talking on Thursday about how we maintain our perimeters, how we establish our terms, how we live our lives in relationship to all the others with all their priorities. That's kind of got a fun title for that too. So that's going to be Thursday. Now, also on Thursday, I want you to realize that the 30th of April is the official end of birthday month. And I've been celebrating, I've been crossing over with my good friend Taurus, because the Taurus season began a few days ago. And of course, it will continue on into its month. In the ancient calendar, April is said to have been the first month. We are the impetuous, impossible, impatient, spontaneous, stubborn, new kids on the block. And now, in this first month, as I'm celebrating all of the memories of the Aprils gone by and all of the gifts we are sharing and giving and receiving, I am readying myself and my team and my clients and my family and my friends for our incredible adventure in 2026. This is our ramping up, gearing up. This is our time to do our circle checks outside to make sure nothing's missing and getting ready for our adventure together. Is that exciting? I hope you think so. I think it's amazing. So on that note, I'm going to say, as I always do, thank you for watching. Without you, this is a rehearsal. Be good to you. You deserve it. Hang on to your inner human. That's your gold and platinum. That's your pricelessness. And remember to hug your loved ones, because they are our foundation and they deserve it too. All right. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.